What's going on, people? It's Mr. back in with the review show, and I've got my ugly mug brother below me. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, Forest lost, 5-0 Liverpool won, and you know what? I'm gonna say I'm proud to be a Forest fan, to be fair, and it is what it is. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I've got the panel in. Start with Mr. Do Daily. Des, how you doing, Des?
I'm all right, like yourself. Extremely proud. You know, they gave it their all, didn't they? And just come up that little bit short today, but reasons to be optimistic.
How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, not bad. We thought we had a decent team. I think we know we have a decent team after that, really, to be honest. We all speculate how could they do in the Premier League and stuff like that, and how would they do against Liverpool. I don't think many people would have predicted, seriously, that we'd have done that well. And we're disappointed we didn't do better. So that can only be a good thing. And hopefully they'll draw from it, and they won't want to feel the same way when they get the next opportunity to go to Wembley, and they'll make sure they book their tickets. They're capable of it.
And last but not least, I've got my brother. I don't know why I've got him on, to be fair. Like, on his face, but Guy, how are you, mate? Well end.
No, do you know what? I mean, you lot. I know you lost, but you were brave tonight. To be honest with you, you were brave, and I think your letdown tonight was the formation. I think all season you've had 3 at the back, haven't you? But for this game against one of the best teams in the world, you had to quickly change something like your formation, and a formation that you don't really play much, and you played well against something that you don't usually play against, you know, like that. I thought you played really well.
People in the comments, if you want to have any questions in, please do. Actually, if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. Mr. Dudale as well is a YouTuber as well. I will put his link as well. I forgot to put his link as well. I do apologize, Des. I was just in a in a rush, but it's what it is. Right, who should start? We'll start with you, Mr. Des. Your opinion on the game?
Just to reiterate what I said, really proud. You know, like Matt said, if we ever needed reason to believe we can compete at an higher level, you know, we definitely can. Guy said there that Forest played a different formation. You know, we did, but I think we played it really, really well. You know, Joe Worrell was absolutely outstanding. You know, incredible performance. I thought he marked Jota out the game. Jota was getting really frustrated with him towards the end. Even after they scored, he was still getting frustrated because he was getting no change. And I just thought, you know, of course, we was on the back foot for a lot of it. We were trying to play from the back. We were trying to do a bit too much sometimes. And Liverpool was half a yard quicker, perhaps even a yard quicker, you know, in terms of that phrase. And they pounced on us. But everything they threw at us, every single player stood up to it. You know, we had players out of position. Jack Colback getting on as he is, playing left back. Brilliant again. Absolutely brilliant. You know, and then Figueiredo coming in and Worrell. We weren't the attacking threat we have been, you know, in the league, but that's to be expected, isn't it? But we did have some good chances as well. And I just, the one thing that keeps replaying through my mind is the Zinchenko one.
Yeah.
I don't know if the flag went up in the end for that, but
it would have done if we scored.
Yeah.
Liverpool
They'd have done a little line and bent it the right way.
Yeah.
Well,
Liverpool,
you know what?
basically, by minimal sort of lines, the offside goal and then the penalty. If it was offside, I was told it was a millimetre offside.
No. You know, from looking at from the TV, at an angle, it looked like he might have been offside. But at the end, when the VAR came about, it was a lot onside. It was never offside. It was always onside.
So there's that, and then there was the penalty. Again, I don't know these. I've not had a chance to see them.
No.
And then the penalty thing, but it's fine margins. That's basically what it's coming down to. And if we're competing with a team who are up there, the best in the world, you know, and they really are, this is incredible from Forest. And we've spoke throughout the season how far we've come. Today is just a massive, another great measure of that, and like we keep saying, we've got to be really proud of that, really pleased with the players, incredible performances. And Steve Cooper, once again, shows without just getting over the line, he's a bit of a tactical genius, isn't he? Because he stood up to them man for man, and they will know they went out of a game, they'd had a game. I don't think they'd have had it tougher in lots of Premier League games all season.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
With the way we probably knock them about, we rough them up a bit, and that's what you have to do. That's not being dirty, that's not being sort of championship and not good enough. It was just standing toe to toe with a really good side and doing what they did. And you saw by the 4 substitutions that Klopp wasn't happy.
That's what I'm going to talk about. Yeah.
So he wasn't happy, and he made the changes. And I watched him a lot because I don't like him. So I was watching his reactions to things, and he just stood there almost motionless, like, what's going on? The one thing I will say, and I'm not disappointed in them because I don't like them either, but the Liverpool fans was diabolical, wasn't it?
You know what? That's something I want to mention as well, because from my angle, you hear about the famous for their chants and blah, blah. I think it was embarrassing. Like, us Forest fans, like, it was non-stop from us. But personally, I didn't hear any Liverpool fans say, people disagree with me, put in comments, I disagree with it.
Well, just on the atmosphere, just before someone else speaks, the atmosphere in the City Ground tonight was absolutely out of this world. The Trent End, who normally are quiet, was incredible. And I hear from the likes of Forza, when the Trent End are on it, the ground's on it. Tonight, the Trent End was up and singing, and that just made the whole difference.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, when Liverpool play, stadiums all over the world, all that kind of business, you can always hear the Liverpool fans. They're constantly singing, constant. And like you said, when the City Ground, Forest fans are shouting, singing songs, I couldn't hear the Liverpool fans. I was thinking, what's going on? Is something wrong with the TV? What are they trying to quiet down the away support? They were quiet. It's the first time in a long time I've heard I've not heard the Liverpool fans sing. I couldn't believe it. And I think it's a credit to Forest, because I think they've come into the City Ground. They thought they're going to be loud. They thought they're going to, Forest fans are going to be maybe quiet, and they're going to do what they always do and sing Liverpool songs. They were just quiet, and I think that's because of Forest. They thought, wow, this is a championship team. They're mad supporters. They've got a really good support. They're going to struggle. So it's really good credit to Forest fans, tonight.
Well, there's some talking points that we're going to talk about, and there was last year, Matt, the Ziganil chance, and to be fair, like first 60 minutes, as Guy mentioned, the Liverpool they put on 4 players on, but the Ziganil chance, Matt, if Forest did that, it would have been a different game, wouldn't it, Matt?
Well, those are the big moments, aren't they, when the whole game sort of turns. Going back to the support quickly, we're always noisy, but we were getting beat. I thought what was so good is we understood what happened, and we supported them even more at the end after getting beaten. It wasn't about winning or losing. It was about saying, well done, and we're behind you, and so forth. So, but anyway, yeah, the Zinkernagel chance, brilliantly created, bad touch by Brennan, but then he whipped it in beautifully. Garner was coming up behind him, and in hindsight, it probably might have been better if Zink hadn't been there and left it to Garner, who had more time. He could have taken his time over it. I mean, Alisson's a brilliant goalkeeper in those situations. So I think all that stuff happened. His life flashed in front of his eyes. It was tricky, isn't it? It's one of those things. They either go in or they don't. But look, Zinks keeps missing, doesn't he?
Is he right-footed?
Yeah.
Because he went. I think he went with his left, didn't he?
No, he opened it. Yeah, he opened it up.
Yeah, I think he probably did.
He went with his left, but I'm sure he was right, wasn't he? He's right-footed. So I'm surprised he went with his left with his right-footed.
Did he go with his left? I don't know. I haven't watched it back.
Yeah, I think he went with his left.
I thought he opened it and went with his right.
I might be wrong.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it, so I'm only doing it from memory. I mean, in your
Yeah,
head,
I think
it
he
all
went with his
seems to
left.
work. In my
I
head,
think he came
scored,
across. He went left and he went across that way. But
Before I get to Des again, I'm going to watch some super chats. I got from good to today about super proud of the Reds. Thank you for the £2 super chat as well. My friend Glenn, even though Matt, Des, and Gary watching him from Watford Gap at the M1.
He stopped halfway home just to watch this rubbish.
what do you know? Do you know what I was
You'll probably
disappointed
flatten his
today?
What
Was
guy?
Spence. I don't know if it's because Spence I don't know if it's your formation or he was nervous. I didn't know. We didn't really see much of Spence. Or
Guy, we'll talk about Spence later.
All right, okay.
We'll talk about Spence later. My brother, I think he's just so excited to be on the channel. So
Yeah.
if you look at him, he's just too excited. Matt, we're talking like that Ziggler chance again. It was just like it would have been.
We had a few chances though, didn't we? Look, we had a few chances. Yatesy obviously had the penalty thing, and he had a header as well. So those are what games turn on, aren't they? And you felt like it woke Liverpool up. It's the classic thing. When you miss chances, you always think the little Mr. Negative on your shoulder thinks, oh, we missed that. We're going to pay for that. And of course we did straight away. But look, personally, I thought Joe had a very mixed game myself. I know afterwards everyone sort of said he had a great game. I thought Figs was absolutely outstanding. He looked like a £15 million defender. I thought Yatesy played well. But look, they all made mistakes because you're playing against some of the best players in the world, the best team in the world. Colback was trying to pass between. They're not used to playing at this level. It's a completely different challenge for them. So you've got to kind of put it in that context as well. They've been dumped into, big school straight away, and it's difficult, isn't it? So I think they all made mistakes, but I thought it was just a really brave performance. And like I say, with the Zinkernagel one, I felt like it was too easy, wasn't it? It has to hit the target. He has to hit the target, whatever he does. And Cafu, that was the other chance. That was the chance out of nothing, which he nearly did something incredible. And again, I haven't looked at that back, but he missed by a bit. But he nearly produced a goal out of absolutely nothing.
You got Yates as well. Yates' header.
Yeah, his header and the penalty. Yeah. So but the header again, it wasn't. You wouldn't say, he fluffed it, but he headed it straight at Alisson, and he couldn't get enough power on it, which you can understand. Another day,
if he ran into
half a ball's width, he could have put it. Different story.
Yeah. If he ran onto it because he stood there, he couldn't get the power behind it, could he?
Yeah, and it can go into the corner on another day, but it didn't. We lost to a better team. That's a fact. They're a better team. But
I don't know. I disagree.
No. But they are tonight. They're one of the best teams in the world. But we lost.
No. What I'm saying is,
we gave you a game.
Tonight, I thought Forest lost the game because
order.
They were nervous. No, honestly, I think Forest won tonight. Honestly, I thought Forest gave good credit to themselves tonight. And yeah, Liverpool have got the players, but I think tonight Forest could have won it. They were just nervous at the back. And the formation, to me, if it was another night, they would have won it.
It was an opportunity missed, wasn't it? I think they'll be disappointed because it should have been one of the most memorable victories in our history. And if we played the game and played the same 5 times, we'd probably win three times.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, we could. But that's the difference. That's the difference between Zink and Jota, whoever it was who scored, some bloke, down the other end. That's the difference. And that's the difference. I felt like the referee didn't want to give us a penalty, didn't really want to spend too long looking at offside. Just, if his shirt was just blowing out a little bit, that would have scored a goal. These sort of corners of your shirt were deadly. I don't know how many goals have been scored with a flapping short sleeve shirt in the past, but apparently they're deadly, and you got it comes into play when it's offside. We should just wear tighter shirts and sort of carry our shoulders a little bit more narrow. To me, he was offside. Everyone thought he was offside, and your eyes don't lie, and you can draw lines wherever you like if you want to prove a story. The referee didn't want to give the penalty. He didn't want to give a foul in the first half. He didn't want to give any fouls, did he? He didn't want to get. You know, Davis got kicked all over the place, really, and we didn't, which is what often happens. You know, we did well. You know, you cannot be disappointed with that, can you?
No, 100%, 100%. There's one thing like the penalty as well. You mentioned about the penalty, Mark, but there's another key point. I personally thought it was if you just went down, that was a penalty. But I understand why it wasn't. But Des, do you think it was a penalty? Yes or no? And people in the comments, what do you think? Do you think it was a penalty?
No.
Des, what do you think?
From what I saw, and I'm a long way away from that. I'm right at the back of the Bridgeford Upper Tier, so I can't be any further away. It looked like it, and I share the same sentiments as you. It was almost like if he'd collapsed in a heap.
No,
I think it might have been a different story. But again, I've not seen enough. I just think a bit like Mark, you know, without getting as frustrated. We weren't getting out, were we? Do you know, if you follow me on Twitter, do you know, the amount of times I moan about VAR on a Sunday afternoon is ridiculous. Do you know, and I'm very cynical when it comes to Liverpool and lines and what they look at. So we were never going to get anything out of it. Premiership referee again, just like on Wednesday night, you know, just shows how the standard of refereeing is absolutely atrocious and how it's influenced by other things. You know, it's appalling because they're not manning up and making big, brave decisions.
I think the penalty.
It's like the old days with Ferguson. If you didn't give him the penalties he wanted, he'd complain about you and you lost your job refereeing Premier League games, big games, because Man U were always involved in them. These Premier League referees would rather Premier League clubs do well. You know, I didn't know when the laws changed, you only have to touch someone for it to be a penalty. But I've seen countless penalties given in the Premier League. So, he touched him, penalty, definite penalty. That's not the law. You do have to actually foul him. And you'd have free kicks all over the pitch if it was just for touching. It's not the law. But in the Premier League, penalties get given. If we'd done it, it probably would have been a penalty. That's all I'm saying. I think
I was looking at it tonight when I saw the penalty. I get what you're saying, but that wasn't a penalty.
It wasn't for me.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I think
he needed to make up his mind, and he thought he lost. He didn't go. He should have just dived. Yates was too honest.
Yeah.
He should have just gone down, and it would have been a penalty. He got touched. It would have been a penalty because he didn't go down. He gave the option. I still think if it had been Liverpool, if the boot was on the other foot, they'd have given it, because that's just the way it is. It's just, VAR is just the referee making a good or bad decision in slow motion. And, you know, Yates should have just gone down, but he's too honest.
Yeah, I think if it was at a different angle to the referee, it could have gone the other way. Because it's probably in front of him, he's gone no. But I think if it was on the other side of the pitch and maybe a few players in front of him, he might have gone, penalty. Well, I think it was a clear view and he saw it and gone no. But I get if it was Liverpool, a lot of them, you know, they look after the big clubs, don't they? So they might have just gone, yeah, of course, it's a penalty. They had Klopp probably shouting on this, you know, jumping up on the street. Penalty, it would have gone, yeah, okay, penalty. But yeah, you're all right. Big clubs do get looked after, don't they?
So here's a question I'm just going to throw in there. If he'd given a penalty initially, would that have got overturned?
Yeah, I bet it wouldn't have done. See, that's the difference. He didn't want to give a penalty. I think to the naked eye, it was a penalty and it should have been given. If you look at it slowly, he did kind of do a little shimmy with his leg and kind of left his leg back, which was kind of clever to draw the foul. It's difficult, isn't it? For me, it's not a penalty because I'd say the guy took his chance, wanted to go past him, and then he kind of simulated. And you could kind of see it in real time. I know it's kind of going back from what I've just said, but they will get given. If that had been Liverpool, he'd have wanted to give it. I honestly believe that. And if the boot was on the other foot, if it's for you, you're going to say you think it's a penalty sort of thing. Well, especially the bigger clubs are, because they're used to this thing where if you get touched, it's a penalty. And he was definitely touched. You know, there's no debate about that.
Yeah, I think if VAR wasn't there, like you said, instantly he would have gone penalty because I think he knew he's got VAR or whoever's talking to him. He's got the opportunity to kind of think about it, look at it, or somebody hearing about it and go, no. But if VAR weren't there, penalty.
But how long did they take looking at it? Not very long.
Not very long.
They didn't want to have a long, hard look at it, did they? I've seen it be a lot longer than that, which is not necessarily a good thing. But with the offside, they didn't take very long looking at that,
I'm looking for the comments, and I've seen a Liverpool fan, and this is nothing. I don't mean
Liverpool.
No, it's not that. It's Gareth Williams. I remember the comment that you put about me. Was it 2 or 3 days ago? Where was you, mate? Where was you, mate, with your Stanley, mate? Not Christine. So next time you want to say something, inbox me on Facebook and see it from there. What else? I'm looking at it. Paddy from. I watched it from my match in Dublin. Early Forest fans and all Scousers supporters said exactly what Alex is saying. Nathan Gunter, Nathan's another Liverpool fan, disagreed, tried to dive, ref practically laughed at him. And
we should have booked him then, shouldn't he?
I'm not trying to say. I mean, this is for you, Guy. Right, this with Guy. Just should have been booked for that.
I wouldn't say booked, but it did go down like cheap. It's hard to say. Obviously, it's playing against Forest, who are a champion. They're a championship side, so I think Championship is a lot stronger than the Premier League. So obviously, coming down to play against Forest is going down. So I won't say booked, but it did go down cheap, dirty, wrong. It was wrong to go down the way he'd done it.
What
simulates cheating.
Yeah. There's 130 people in. Please do hit the like button. Please do it. It's much appreciated. Much about Jay Lolly Des, and I was surprised that he started today. And to be fair, it wasn't that bad. I think the first half.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'd say he's virtually man of the match.
Yeah. First half, I think he had a chance, and from my angle, because that's cut inside, and I think he could have done better. Don't you think, Des?
Perhaps. Do you know the one? I've seen some comments, and I saw a bit of analysis when I popped down at half time that they're saying he should have shot when he pulled one back. And it does look on the TV that he should have shot. It was at the Bridgeford end, but it wasn't that scenario. Sometimes at the game, you see something different to what's on the television. He wouldn't have been able to shoot. If he'd have shot, everyone would have said, "Why didn't you pull it back?" And so. But like Matt said, I thought he was brilliant. His first game in God knows how long, absolutely love the guy anyway. He can't do much wrong for me. But when he come back into the team today, it was a surprise. We was all a bit shocked. I wasn't totally surprised that he went forward at the back when everybody was talking about young kids coming in. We'd all kind of got carried away with how well the 3-5-2s were. But we know Cooper does like 4-4-1-1 at times as well. So when Lolly played up there in front of Spence, it meant we had sort of pace and trickery on either side, with Brennan Johnson. It did kind of dilute Spence a little bit. We know his position is bombing on. But I thought Lolly worked well with Spence at times. It wasn't as often as Johnson and Lolly do in normal circumstances, but yeah, I thought Lolly was great, to be honest, and it was really encouraging, isn't it? Because when Joe Lolly's on form, Forest are on form. It's as simple as that, because once goals come into his game and confidence first, and then goals come into his game, you've got a different dynamic to the whole team. You've got a guy who can chip in with Johnson and. The goals that are missing from Zinchenko, to be honest.
Yeah, precisely.
Do you know the negative? I know Lolly played well. He did play well. I'm a fan of his. With him coming to the team, though, do you think it pushing Brennan on the right hand side? Because I saw that when the sheet came out, I saw Lolly on the right and Brennan on the left, and I thought it's not really good because Brennan's always been on the right hand side. So I don't know if that's how you see it. If he's moving off to the other side, it's kind of a negative, maybe.
Well, switched at the end, didn't he?
Negative. I think in the Championship it'd be equally as effective as it is, as it is normally. But of course, we're playing Liverpool. So what both of those guys did really, really well, and they're not particularly well known for it, is they did a lot of working back. Johnson and Lolly put a right shift in. When I said they stood toe to toe, they had to play deep at times. But to have as much possession in Liverpool's half and to hold them out for so long, and when we got the ball, they didn't take a second thought about running forward. They were gone. They was absolutely bombing at Liverpool every time they got the ball. And that shocked me. That really surprised me. I know Cooper is kind of throwing caution to the wind in the Championship, but Lolly, Davis, whoever, Brennan Johnson, at times, just absolutely flew forward. No respect. Not in a bad way, but with plenty of respect, but no respect for this is one of the best teams in the world. It was almost saying, we're Nottingham Forest, and you're at our place. We're going to give this a good go, and we're going to go down fighting. And for me, having both of them on the pitch gave us that opportunity to just fly at them.
Look, it was all about bravery and belief, wasn't it? Yeah. Bravery and belief, and all the tactical stuff is by the by. If that defence, you'd expect to concede a goal in an average Championship game, wouldn't you? With that back four, really, it's Cole back out of the midfield at left back, and attacking old Jed Spence and stuff. You expect to concede a goal, even with Horvath behind them, but it wasn't a problem, was it? They put in a total shift, and they were just really brave. And there were Lolly put in so much work in that first half. He was coming back, doubling up, helping Spence out, and also Joe having to come across. And, he did screw some things up. He passed the ball back to them a couple of times and stuff. But they were really brave, and they tried to play their own game and impose their own game on a team far superior to them in ability and their sort of pace and control movement. And that was the thing that I think killed us, that we were, I don't want to say rigid, but we were hanging on, and they had that confidence and that swagger where they know they can just break through the lines and move the ball around so quickly. And that's what kind of killed us. And you always felt like you're going to get sort of stabbed any minute, sort of thing. But it didn't really happen in the end.
I'm just looking through the comments on Lisa Howard. I'll be fine. How you doing, Lisa? Just got to say you were great today. If you don't go up this season, something will go wrong. Other than Fulham, for me, you are better than top 5 for me, and it pains to say. Bloody hell, Lisa, you okay? You've been on the article today. Bloody hell. Another one from Derek. How you doing, Derek? The league is absolutely property now. It will be traumatizing if we don't get the team promoted as well. It will. One from Charlie. Like gain is too much. Gains is so much. Twinton
territory.
Right. There's another one, right? And I think we keep talking about Samba, bloody blah. But I'm gonna ask you, Matt. Right? We keep talking about it.
What?
Personally, every time Harvard, he's not done it wrong, but no. Every time the ball went back, I got a little bit worried. But
they got into that habit, didn't they?
Yeah, but let's be fair, right? He's not done nothing bad. Like, was he really? I know because he's a god, but how many? He didn't make much saves today, did he?
Well, he had that one-on-one, didn't he, where the guy tried to chip him and he did a great save, and then Joe kicked it away in the first half. And what else did he do? I'm just trying to think. He wasn't busy, was he? Like we were talking about, Samba should come in because he's going to have a really busy night. And he didn't. He didn't have that much to deal with. Okay, one-on-one's pretty serious stuff, but he didn't make lots of saves. There was a few, but they were fairly regulation, weren't they? No, I thought he played really well tonight, and it does seem like Cooper's definitely got an issue, hasn't he? He's obviously said, you've been a very, very naughty boy, and you're not going to have your place back until this guy messes something up, which in a way is quite fair enough. It's like, you've got the shirt, you behave, and if you don't, Robert you. There's another one waiting who's pretty decent. I'll give it to him, and you'll just have to wait your turn. because you had the chance and now it's up to him. He's got the chance, and until he does something stupid, I'm going to let him wear the shirt. And it seems to be his policy. I thought he was going to give him a bit of a lesson and then bring him back because he thought he was the better goalkeeper, like we all seem to think. And I think he is better with his feet, and he looks more confident. To me, Horvath, if I was playing against a team with him in it, I'd feel like, whoa, give it a go. I'm not sure about this keeper. And that's just a feeling about it. But
I had a feeling that Cooper had an opportunity, not an opportunity, but if Horvath had a bad game against Liverpool tonight, then Cooper would have a reason to drop him to bring Samba back. So in the sense of, Samba, you done something wrong. Horvath, you're my number one. And I thought, if he had a good game like he did tonight, then he can continue his role as number one. But I thought tonight was the game that I had an opportunity to kind of say, sorry, Horvath, do you know what I mean? Let's bring Samba back. But Horvath, to me, he's your number one going forward. Number one from previous games and tonight as well.
Okay.
My opinion on Horvath, I had a thought tonight. Does Samba now come back because he's now really served all the punishment? He's missed the Liverpool game. He's missed the big one. You know, is it time now to say you've done it? But all I'm seeing from Horvath now, we still worry about his kicking. His kicking's not perfect, but he's growing in confidence game by game, and he's part of that back four, back five, back six, whatever, back four, three. He's part of that now. He's really part of it, and you can see the connection, and he's growing. And one thing he did do tonight, which was brilliant, his handling is incredible. Do you know? And don't get me wrong, Samba's is not bad. Samba's is great as well. But every time the ball comes, his hands are on it, and he made it look really, really easy at times. Do you know,
to me, Samba's the one with the magic hands where he catches them with one hand and stuff like that. He's a basket. Yeah. He's the guy for me who's got the magic hands. If you watch Horvath warming up as well, he scares you in the warm-up, lets in more goals than you imagine he should. But in the games, fair play to him, he's done brilliantly. You know, and I think he is a very good goalkeeper. I'm not trying to detract from him in any way. I just think his personality is not as confident. And I think if you just say it's just pure confidence, saying they're exactly the same in ability, I think in this team, all the players need to be confident. And that is by playing and gaining confidence. Not so much like he can't stop the ball or his kicking's a little bit weak, but I think it all stems from confidence. And he just, today a few times, didn't he? He gave the ball to Figs, he gave it to, say, Colback, and then it went back to Figs. And it was like we're getting deeper and deeper, and you're getting, whoa, this is getting worse and worse. So it's just the decision making on that. But yeah, he's a good goalkeeper. He's almost as good as Samba. So
do you think Samba? Do you think Forest would have had a better chance the way they were playing from the back? If he was playing today, do you think he would be a little bit better if he was in goal tonight? The way the Forest were playing from the back.
A bit more fluent, I guess, is what you're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah.
We might have been a bit more fluent with the ball, you know.
But having said that, Horvath did chuck a couple out that we created attacks straight from him, didn't we? So it's not like he's useless, but I think he's best better with his feet, Samba, isn't he? So I think, it wouldn't have made much difference to the scoreline probably, but it's a bit like Pantilimon. Everyone had the problem with Pantilimon. He had that vibe and they all kept going on about his kicking. But I think it's more the way it looks rather than the actual tangible difference to whether we're going to win games or not. But still, that's important. Appearances matter, don't they? You know, if your goalie looks like, go at this guy, put him under pressure from crosses, you're going to invite them in, aren't you?
I'm just looking through the comments, and I got a new member to the channel. Sean Stones. Thank you very much for being a member. If you want to be a member, the link is below. Dead older, he's a member. I'm still waiting for Matt to be a member as well. So that Matt.
It's that thing about a club. Anyone that have me as a member, I don't want to join, sort of thing.
So if you want to be a member as well, please link is below. Like I said, Sean, thank you very much for being a member. I was going to look for the comments as well. We're talking about this one. Callum. Harvard hasn't done anything wrong. He's been fantastic. It's fantastic. Samba is liability. The defense put Hull under pressure a lot today. Matt, do you think that?
Yeah, I think it's fair comment, but it's all about the next. That's what the manager's paid to do, isn't it? To make the right judgment. We don't really know. We can only look at the matches. You know, it's like, I mean, my other bugbear is Mighton. I personally, I don't see what Mighton today. I was scared me stiff when he came on, because he always seems to give the ball away in any kind of tight situation like this. He's just not mature enough yet for me. And he did give the ball away a couple of times and could have conceded the goal from it. So, you know, the manager must know these things, and he knows, you know, he sees them play all day, every day, all week sort of thing. So they know more about them, these guys, than we do, and what they're capable of. So I don't know. Yeah, Horvath's a good goalkeeper. There's no doubt about it. He's a very good goalkeeper. The question is Samba better than him? And is Samba going to, you know, which one is the one you want to stick with in the long term? And you know, maybe if you say Samba's worse, can he be better? But, you know, he's a liability and all this. I think it's kind of a bit hypocritical. So a lot of people were sort of cheering, oh yeah, Mr. Shithouse, well, hey, you know, wasting time. Everyone was cheering and loving it. And then as soon as there's a little push turns into a little bit more like a punch, it's like, oh, disgusting. I'd never approve of that sort of thing. So I think there's a degree of hypocrisy. You take him as he is. No, it wasn't a big surprise. It just went a little bit too far. It cost us. Maybe he didn't really deal with it the way he should have dealt with it. And it's fair enough. He had a punishment. But you've got to just make that judgment, haven't you? No one knows. I always think managers and goalkeepers are the hardest thing to judge. Because you can get a manager and at one club they don't work, at another club they work, you know, and you can think they're a brilliant manager and then they're rubbish the next season. And it's the same with goalkeepers. You make 2 mistakes, you're a bad goalkeeper. If you don't make 2 mistakes, you're a brilliant goalkeeper. So I don't know. I personally just think Samba's a little bit better than Horvath.
Before I look at the comments, and as well, I've got another super chat from Derek. Thank you for the £4.49. That will get Guy a Liverpool top if that comes. As well, like I say, thank you for 4.99. Right, another talking point, and I'm going to Sky man. Was that goal offside from Jota?
Yes.
Guy.
No.
Yes.
What do you mean?
It was.
No. So like I'm saying, is from the first angle what we saw. I was looking at thinking, oh, that's offside. But then they showed one angle, just once, and the angle was, and they showed the line that Jota was way onside. He was way onside.
After
normally it's a hand or it's a toe or it's a head. His whole body was onside. So you can't. So I understand what you're saying. It's, you know, the heat at the moment and, you know, a lot of it's offside. It wasn't 100%. It wasn't offside. It was onside.
Everyone saw it, and it was offside.
Honestly,
just because you can get a picture and draw 2 lines, I can draw lines any old place. You can make any old narrative for it. Like I say, I personally think all this nonsense with the flappy sleeve is absolute crap. You know, how many you can look at all these lines all day. It's offside to me. It's offside all day. It's all this.
I don't know. I honestly, I disagree because
flowing.
I know. I get it, but it's
all to do with a split second when the ball's kicked as well. No one hardly ever looks at that side of it. You can say, "Oh, it hasn't come off his foot yet. It's still his toe dragged along slightly more." They didn't want to give it. It was very, very close, and they didn't spend anywhere near enough time if you're going to get into the pernickety crap that you're talking about the width of a felt tip. If their little red felt tip's a little bit fatter than their little yellow felt tip, there you go. He's onside or he's offside. But to me, it's absolute nonsense. You looked at it. Everyone said he was offside on TV. You're looking at it. Everyone's looking at it. And say, oh, I've drawn a line.
I don't know.
I can't believe it. He's onside. Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I just, like I said, the first angle was but then they showed another angle. I don't know if it's the.
Well, I'll go with the first angle then. I'll go with the first.
The first angle was it wasn't straight. It was an angle, and you kind of thought, oh, potentially. But then it showed another angle. I don't know if it's the more true of the angles, but he was way behind. So I was like,
well, he wasn't. There's no way he was way behind. It must have been from the blinking Bridgefield end or something, the other angle, I reckon.
It's due daily with VAR. We can't
No
see
one
it.
can see that.
It
It just goes a big blur. That will prove it one way or the other. That's it. I'll draw the lines. He's onside. Clearly.
I can't
There you go.
see. He's miles off. You see, look, he's absolutely miles offside.
Yeah, that's the angle when we first saw, but there's an angle where you're more to the front and he's
I'll tell you
onside.
what, Des, I've got it. Turn the thing up the other way, and then he's onside. If we're kicking the other way, he's onside.
You know what? I bet Jamie Carragher's got his finger on one of them things where he does that and moves the player up there.
Yeah. We've all used Photoshop.
I don't know. I like I said, I might be completely wrong. It's just from what I was seeing, it was onside.
Well, that's what we're seeing. It is like everyone said he's offside sort of thing. This is going to be ruled out, and it's like, oh no. Anyway, get on with the game quick as you can. They didn't even really show the lines, did they? They didn't spend any time thinking about it. It was if it was onside, it was damn close. If
the flag never went up, the flag would always go up in that situation. But the linesman didn't want to give it either. So again, it probably wasn't even conclusive enough to overturn, like the penalty wasn't given. So they're making it easy to make.
Yeah,
easy not to make the decision.
Yeah.
Well,
despite what you see with your eyes.
I think out of the two decisions, you probably got more of an argument for the offside than you do to have the penalty.
Well, then, but it's not like, okay, well, let's forget the penalty and we use our credit from that to convince you that it was offside then, okay? So we'll knock the goal off and we'll carry on. Let's have extra time. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. We don't get either of them.
What would Mark Warburton say?
Small margins. I said that downstairs in the kitchen whilst I was eating my pancakes just now. Yeah.
There's 148 people in. Thank you very much for coming on today. If you need to channel, please do hit the like button. If we can get to 50 as well, please. And like I said, Mr. Do Daily, he's got Mr. Do Daily. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Make sure you do subscribe. And as well, Matt's got some merch behind it. If you want any merch from Matt, please get some. I'll put the links in, but I forgot to put the link in. But please do get some merch from Matt. Subscribe to Des and don't follow my brother on Twitter because he supports Liverpool. So, like I said, I'm going to ask you, Des. People are slated Figueiredo, and to me, like, what can we do? McKenna's out now, Cook's out, and I think he's been all right today.
Brilliant.
He's been in the two games since he's come back in due to the injuries. He's been brilliant. What I will say about Figueiredo is, if it weren't for the fact Steve Cook had become available, he'd still be playing every single week. Steve Cooper made the comment that you don't turn down Steve Cook on a free, which, from what we've seen from him, absolutely not. He's been brilliant. He's fit into that defence, not just for his ability, for his leadership skills. And I think the only reason, even more than just what Steve Cooper said there, the only reason Figueiredo is not playing is because obviously he's not going to sign a new deal, because he's been wanting to go home for a couple of years, which is understandable at times. It's not a great situation. You'd hope he wants to stay at Forest. You'd hope he wants to sort of be a first team regular. But I think they've looked at the situation. They've gone, Figueiredo's not going to sign a new deal. He wanted to leave 2 years ago. He's not let us down in the meantime. He suffered a massive dip in form when they wouldn't let him go, which is kind of understandable. We won't accept it as fans, but you can understand it to some degree if you're not happy and the crowd was getting on his back. Do you know, this guy is a really, really good championship defender, and he wins a lot of balls in the air. Today, he won everything in the air. And
he hardly misses a thing.
I remember when we first signed him, we had him on a loan, first option to buy, didn't we? Yes. I read something at the time. 17 championship clubs wanted to sign him, and we'd got first refusal. So this guy's no more.
He's very good.
The guy.
No, I mean,
right now,
I didn't see why we bought Steve Cook at the time. I didn't think we kind of needed him because Figs. I take your other points about the transfer situation and all the contract, but I didn't see the reason to sign him because I think Figs was kind of good enough. Having said that, I think Cook is good and the experience and he's better, and Figs is a little bit more dodgy, but he's comparable. I don't think he's a problem at all. I think the narrative about him wanting to leave is actually a little bit totally unfair on him, really, because I think what actually happened is he had a baby and he's got split up from his wife because of COVID and his commitments, and he was kind of told to do one, and he thought he was leaving, and then it was like, actually, we might like you to stay around and stuff, and he might still want to stay around. I don't know how open to persuasion he is now, but the fact he's not playing well, he makes it less attractive, obviously. But I think he was kind of, the door was open for him and he was sort of beckoned towards the door, and that's what meant they split up, parted. So he was left here, not happy in Nottingham, away from his baby and his girlfriend or wife or whatever. So I think it's a little bit unfair on him. And I think it's very easy then for the fans to say, oh, look, he miskicked the ball twice. And he wants to leave and all this kind of crap. And he becomes mega villain. It's absolutely, totally unfair. And we've seen a lot of the players in the team that have had similar narratives for one reason or another. So I think, I'm not blaming you for saying it, but that's that kind of the story gets kind of told, and I don't think it's the truth is probably actually a little bit more.
But the reality of it all,
but he's a good player. That's the point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Going back to Door's question,
doesn't matter about the other
guy
stuff.
is a good champion.
He's a very good player,
and
he's very strong.
It'll be really interesting to see where his next move is. I'd be fascinated to see where he moves to, because if he does go back to Portugal, I can see a top team coming in. If he plays somewhere abroad, I can see him playing in England still now after everything that's been said.
You go to Reading, all ex-Force players go there.
If his form continues from tonight, and then McKenna comes back, and Cook comes back, and would you still play him, or would you just drop him? Thinking about, obviously, he might join a different club or whatever, but right now, as a Forest player, would you keep him based on if he continues that form from tonight?
I don't think he'll get picked. I think Cook will come back if he comes back, just because you wouldn't mess around with it. But to be fair, I think the problem is now he's too good to be fourth choice or fifth choice, whichever you say he is. And we've got Panzo and we've got Mbeso and stuff. There's too many good centre halves. So I think it's just unfortunate circumstances mean he will leave, but he's plenty good enough to be our first choice centre half. If Cooper liked the look of him and if he signed a contract, there's not much in it. I think we've got lots of good centre halves. Unfortunately, I feel sorry for whoever it is who isn't playing. We're spoiled for them.
He played well tonight. I mean, again,
it's good.
The attack force of Liverpool. To be fair, he didn't.
He was the best. He was one of the best players. He was one of the best players on the pitch.
He didn't swear. He didn't swear. He didn't have to run back. Literally, he was on that part tonight. And he didn't sweat at all. That's how good a player he was.
The first half, a couple of times, he got the ball and he looked like Van Dijk.
He looked like he was playing with Goalkeeper most of the time.
He looked Franz Beckenbauer kind of stuff. He's a really good footballer, and he's a really proper defender. He's a tough guy, and he's a proper defender. And to be fair, they all are. I feel sorry for whoever it is who isn't playing, because they all should be playing the Championship. We've got 6 that are plenty good enough to play in the Championship. So it's just tough, really.
I'm also going to look from the comments, and I got another super chat, and this is from Kieran. Thank you, Kieran. It's going to be sad when Figs leaves. Thank you for £1.7, Kieran.
Put that in the fund to keep him a new contract.
Putting it in tonight, Door.
We have, bloody hell. This is from Thomas.
Self-assessment.
Warren Cook McKenna is the best defence in the league. OGW Figs aren't good enough. He is good enough. He just because we've got another good free player like Cook and McKenna. From Rich Star, McKenna and Cook straight back in for me. That's one thing.
I agree, but look, it's really nice, isn't it? Look, we're talking about the goalkeeper and we're saying how good both of them are, and it's like a cigarette paper between them. And it's the same with the centre halves. We've got lots of good players now. Don't forget, at the beginning of the season, they were all rubbish. Remember, all these guys were rubbish. not good enough. We need to get new ones in. It's like as good as Knockout and people like that, and Bong and all those other guys from Brighton. This lot weren't good enough, remember? So it's a nice problem to have.
100%. Right, really, I've got 50 minutes. This has been gone quick. Oh my days. Right, we'll give you man of the match. People comment who would you man of the match for today's game. Let me start with you, Des. What player stood out for you today?
Well, I said it right at the start. I thought Worrell was fantastic. There were one or two little things in there. He was the one who played Firmino on side in the first half. He got caught at the back. But I think as we grew into the game, second half, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And of course they were singing to Van Dijk, "You're just a shit show, whoa," which I think helped him massively. I think really helped his confidence grow. And I noticed Klopp actually went straight up to him at the end and give him a pat on the back. And I thought that was interesting.
You know what that means?
I hope he pushed him off and said, "Leave me alone."
But I just thought he was brilliant. And again, a captain's performance. We get them every week anyway. We should be used to them. But it was absolutely brilliant. I thought Ryan Yates as well. He really got about. Incredible performance. People talk about his lack of ability. I think it's disrespectful. Because the guy is in there. He's in there winning tackles. Winning headers. Doing what he has to do. He was brilliant. Covered every blade of grass. I thought it was fantastic.
There's his dog voting for it as well.
But for me, I just thought Worrell edged it. Joe Lolly had a great game. Figueiredo had a good game. Orvath played well. Colback again, 7.5 out of 10. Just even better probably. I just thought they were brilliant. But for me, Worrell, it was a proper Worrell and Yates captain's performances from both of them. Two of our own.
Personally, I thought Joe had a mixed game, and defenders, you don't want to have any, highs and lows. You want to have a game where no one notices you more often than not, like McKenna style. So, I'm a big Joe Worrell fan, but I think he will feel a bit like, "Ooh, I got away with that one a few times." I did a couple of fantastic tackles, though. Having said that first one in the first half was outstanding. Equally, like you say, Yates, a couple of times he won a few biting tackles to start with. And there was that one occasion where he was holding the ball and getting tackled left and right, and he was falling on the floor. And he got the foul eventually, but he was brave because he didn't just kick the ball away. So I thought, again, and he was on the end of 2 or 3 clear-cut chances. So, I thought he had a good game. I would give it to Lolly, personally, for context, because I think he came in and was outstanding. He did nothing kind of wrong, which I felt like everyone, I'm not knocking them, but they made errors. Like Jack gave the ball away a couple of times. You're like, whoa, sort of thing. But it could have cost us goals. It happens. But so I would give it to Lolly because I thought he came in and he was fantastic and he deserves it.
Guys, Liverpool fan, what first place stood up for you?
Do you know what? You'd probably be shocked or maybe, but I think your silent assassin tonight who hardly put a foot wrong, and when he did touch the ball, he created something that would be Gardner. Is it Gardner?
Yeah, no, I was going to say.
Every time he touched that ball, it was dangerous. Through balls, he was finding space. It was causing the Liverpool midfield. They were making him panic. I think every time he touched the ball, something happened for Forest. Even though it wasn't constant and it was a bit quiet in most games, but even when it was quiet, he was doing something anyway, without knowing what he was doing or touching the ball. But I think he was, class tonight.
They all did well, to be fair. I mean, I think it's almost unfair saying the ones which didn't do very well. They all turned up. They all did everything they could. And some of them just, they're not as good as who they're playing against. Else they'd all be playing in the Premier League for 50 million quid and stuff. They had people coming off the bench worth more than the whole team put together, didn't they? So, I mean, you've got to put it in context. But I think, so you don't expect them to dominate these teams. But we weren't disgraced at all. Every one of them held their own. There wasn't anyone that should feel embarrassed about what they did today at all. I thought they all did fantastically.
I think Brennan Johnson, again, personally, me looking at it, he was quiet. And I don't think it's just this game. I think the past 3 games has been really quiet. He pops up maybe the last 15 minutes or something. But tonight, of all the players, I think he had a really quiet game by his standard anyway. I know it's against Liverpool, and he's playing against, Joe Gomez and, Liverpool defence or just Liverpool team. But I think he had a quiet game, a really quiet game.
But then you say that, and I agree with you to some degree. Quite by his standards, he still put a killer ball in for Zinchenko. You
get one assist a game, you're good, aren't you?
I just think it's a young guy against Liverpool, and tonight was very much okay. He had that one good pass or whatever, but I think his overall contribution to the game, like I say, going back to Lolly and him playing, different positions where he's normally on the right, isn't he? And he's got his 14 goals this season, coming down the right-hand side. And yes, he can play on both sides. I get it. But you're playing against a Premiership side. He should have kept playing on the right side. He's played all season. He's got his 13 goals, 14 goals on that right-hand side. Kept him there.
Pick the team. He's not.
No, that's what I mean. But I think Lolly came in. He played well. Brilliant. But Johnson's played well all season in one position. And tonight, do you know what? Just put you on that side. And I think that was your downfall, I think.
No, I think Cooper wanted someone to work harder down that side, defend more. So I think that's why he went with Lolly. I think that was the theory. And he obviously asked him to defend, didn't he? So the idea was Spence could attack. It didn't really turn out like that. But I think that was the theory. And I think it was a good theory because I'm not sure whether it's the wise thing for Johnson to have been doing the work that Lolly got through doing that job, because I think he'd be better off somewhere else trying to do the creative end of it, because I just think mainly defending.
Yeah, I mean he's 18, 19, and I think coming into the game, and I know Forest are they're getting promoted. I think there's got to be a time for just Cooper should say to him, he's a young guy, his form's dipped. He should have I'll put you on the bench for a little bit just to wake him up a little bit because he's young.
No,
he should be the
star
of the team.
His career is going like that. It's exponential improvement.
Yeah, I get that. But the last 4 games, he's been quiet. So he should peg himself just to kind of say, you're a young guy, drop him for a little bit, bring him on a substitute. He's been quiet. Literally been quiet. He's not done anything really.
Who for would you pick at his place then?
Yeah, who would you pick out?
I don't know, to be honest.
You haven't really got any.
No, but what I'm saying is, he's such a young guy. You should tell him something. Like he just thinks I'm going to get picked all the time. I could play crap. I could play God.
No,
I'm young. He should get told.
No, that's not him. That's not him. That's not that player.
I don't know. I just think he should get.
That's Anthony Knockaert you're thinking of. That's the guy who should have got dropped, who thought he was going to get picked every game, who didn't want to run back and stuff. He's not that guy. He's not an old guy who's given up and doesn't really care and it's just a show pony and just trying to make a show reel to get his next contract that he doesn't really deserve and he's going to play rubbish for the rest of the season. That's Knockaert. Brennan's improving geometrically, exponentially even. And, you got to just play him. Cooper picks him every game, so he must be doing something right. He never takes him off, does he? He's played virtually every minute of every game. He just takes him off when he wants to give him a standing ovation. And he deserves them. And he's a young kid, and he's improving. You got to let him play. That's what they all want to play. They all want to play, don't they?
They all want to play. And I understand what Guy's saying. He's had a quiet time, but like I said, he almost helped Zinchenko to get a goal. He scored on Saturday as well. So sorry, Guy.
But I tell you what, I would do. I would have been inclined to give Zinchenko a rest and put Lolly on the wing and let him play as a free role number 10 kind of thing, perhaps, or switching with Lolly. Let Lolly play as a number 10. I would do that, definitely, because I think Zink, for his own good, his confidence must be low because he'll know as well as anyone that he hasn't really delivered very much at all, has he? The whole season, really. He's done a few things, but, he's our luxury player. He doesn't offer much defensively. He does a little bit of creative stuff, but he hasn't done much in the business end of the field, has he?
Right. All round, I personally thought Figs did well. If I'm honest, who else was there? I think Figs. Figs me was I like Figs. Like we mentioned, like when you got player like McKenna and Cook, both experienced players alongside Worrell, it's going to be hard for him to get in the team. But for me today, I think Figs was me. He's still that player as well as Garner as well. He was good as well. But as well, I think Jack. I'm not saying because Matt's here. I think Jack Cobalt was not too bad as well. I'm not saying it. I thought he wasn't too bad to be fair, because was it Harvey Elliott who played that right wing or what I think it was?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really do much because I know. Yeah, I personally don't think he did much, but yeah, as always. Before we do go, I've got another super chat. Bloody hell, I'm making it in today. Simon James, £5. Thank you for £5. Guys, why didn't you draw the line with Jota on offside? It's so ridiculous, rigged. If you look like your feet in positions, you can see he's offside. I think that's what debate. I think there's so many angles.
It's just the shoulder can score a goal. That's it. You know, that's the only reason.
I think we need VAR do daily to get the angles in. Do daily. We can't get the angles in from Simon, thank you very much for the £5. I much appreciate it as well, my friend. Much appreciate it.
Just on the man of the match thing, I think it's really interesting that in a losing team, we've all picked 4 different players, you know, and that just shows what an effort it was tonight, doesn't it? You know,
and there's 5 or 6 solid contenders, and even the ones, you know, like you're saying, Brennan was quiet and stuff. They all did their bit, didn't they? And the subs and everything else, they all did well. I thought again, Cafu did well when he came on.
Yeah, 100%. I told you. Don't sleep on Cafu. I said to him, he comes on. I think it's a right choice as well, because I think at that time when Cafu came on, we were slowly getting there. And I think it was the right time for Cafu to come on as well. But
the game was going a classic Cooper game plan, wasn't it? But for that little the missed chance and just that minute, it could have gone the other way round, or that minute could have happened near the end. That would have been a classic Cooper Forest performance, wouldn't it?
I just think
it just went against us for once.
Yeah, 3-5-2 would have been the formation for Forest tonight. 3-5-2. You would have won it, because Spence would have had more of an opportunity to do what he's always done all season. So I just think, unfortunately, you've had the injuries, and I think it's come about at the wrong time when you played against Liverpool tonight.
Yeah, but look, however good Spence is, it's you know, it's a different thing doing what he does in the Championship and doing it against Liverpool. It's a completely different thing. You know, if he could do it against Liverpool, he'd be playing for Brazil and stuff like that. You know, you've got to be
because don't think we didn't have Johnson and we didn't have Trent Alexander, but I think tonight after Tsimikas, he was ill the other night, so he's come in. You know, not really 100% fit. Yeah, it's not his best game, but and then you had Gomez on the other side. So tonight's game against Liverpool was the perfect night for Forest to play the 3-5-2 to get behind them two, because they're nowhere near what Liverpool played. How our wing backs nowhere near. Tsimikas, okay, he played all right, but tonight's game, Forest could have had them. It's just like I said, unfortunately, they've had their injuries, and that was a setback for them tonight, which was a positive on our side, I think.
It's you're still talking about an England international and a pretty handy player, one of them, and you know the other one's not bad. And you expecting Spence to do what he can do in the Championship. It's asking a hell of a lot. You know, he's a brilliant player, but you can't just destroy these people every week. I should be blinking, you know, best player in the world. You know, he'd be playing for them instead of us a long time ago. You know, we were up against a better team, and we made a damn good fist of it. You know, I think all we can say is we're better tonight than we could have seriously thought we were last night, and that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? And I hope that they all feel, and I think they all feel quite gutted about what happened today, which is also a good sign. And I hope that they take that forward, and it ensures they get into the playoffs and go to Wembley as they deserve for the season they've had.
100%. Right, people will get going. Bloody hell, this has gone quick. This has gone quick. We'll go past the hour mark. It's been thank you very much for 100 people. I think there was 137 people that's watched this late show. But
Some of them left.
Thanks a lot for watching. Just to do daily. Thank you very much, Des. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Guy, my brother, for coming on. As well, people. Des got a channel. Please go and subscribe to his channel. I will put the link after the show. Matt as well. Matt does all his voice, and not as well all other pictures as well. If anyone wants any merch, please message Matt on Matt. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, which one? Well, gallery_rogues is the Twitter one. Don't ask me all these things. I have to write them all down and stuff like that. But I'm on there somewhere. No, I just sold some Zelensky posters to the Scottish Parliament, an MP up there, which was quite nice today. I just did one of them this week. So yeah, we're just hopefully a bit of propaganda to sway the war effort. So yeah, we do a few other things, less important trivial matters in my spare time when it's not drawing a Brian Clough or Stan Collingwood or something.
Right. Last but not least, like I said, last but not least, the Kevin Campbell event as well. I said I've not put nothing in the link description, so I will do it. It was a rush job. So yeah, I do apologise as well, people. But like I said, people, if you are on the channel, if I can get to 50 likes before this end the show, I can. But like I said, Des, Matt, and Guy, thank you very much. And on Tuesday, I think I'll do a different show on Tuesday because like I said, we've got 2 weeks off now, and so I'm going to do a different show today. So what I'll do on Tuesday, if you want to do, I'm going to do calls in. Any Forest fan that can come on for 5 minutes, talk about Forest season, because like I said, how many games got left, Des and Matt? About
10, isn't it? 10 cup finals.
10 cup finals. And like I said, people,
absolutely.
I'm going to do a show at 10 o'clock. So if you want to call in as well, please do. And we'll talk about Forest as well. So yeah. Right, people, I want to get going. It's been advice for Guy because he's got school in the morning.
He'll graduate one day.
Yeah. So, like I said, people, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, if you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you lot on Tuesday. Peace and love, and up the Forest. Gabby, up the Forest, Guy.
Yeah, shut up, man.
Right, up the Forest, and I'll see you on Tuesday.